Hello guys to Ranking Nerf Series. Today we are taking a look at a very odd entry. It got voted in here. If you do not know, I do votes every single week on polls to see what thing I rank next. Today is Atom Blast, a series that is very small, the smallest I'll probably ever do on this list. It is 3 blasters, and this will be very weird, to say the least. Atom Blast didn't last long. It's all about the original Nerf ammo, the Nerf ballistic ball. Or that, nothing much else to do. So let's get started. At -1 is the Atomizer. This is, yeah, I don't care. This is the worst blaster in Nerf. This is worse than the uppercut. This is awful. First of all, it's the slingshot blaster, which really only fired 10 feet at most, which is terrible. And this is just the same thing, but with one less ball. So instead of 3 that won't fire far, you get 2 that don't fire far. And the way you load it is absolute crap compared to the other one, because this one has a lip on it that keeps the balls in, but the issue with that, it puts a mark in the ball every time you load one. And this thing just is terrible. It's honestly terrible. The balls could fall out too. This slingshot is awful. It's just honestly awful. And no matter what, of everything I've ever ranked in Nerf, every single thing I've ever done, this is the worst blaster in Nerf. This is the absolute worst. No matter what, I'll take the uppercut any day than using this. It is honestly awful. You pull back the little string with a bungee cord that doesn't even pull back. Really, it's kind of just a cord. It goes back like maybe 2 inches. You let it go. The little round part hits the ball, sends it flying. Maybe 10 feet is what you got. It just sucks. And Nerf, this was an awful thing. I'm not even count this as a number. This is -1. This thing is awful. Like, just absolute garbage. Coming in at 0.5 is the Reactor. The Reactor has some fun with it, but I'm not going to give it a full point because it's not great. It has a little bit more range than this guy, but, you know, maybe 15 feet, and that's with it falling to 15 feet. The Reactor holds 6 rounds in its internal hopper thing inside the actual pipe area. You load 6, and it's a hamp blaster. It's actually a really good hamp blaster, but it just doesn't really have a lot of power for what it needs to. So how it works is you load 6 balls, you pull it out, push it back, and it'll fire a ball around 15 feet. The handle's fine. The front grip is a bit sharp, in my opinion. It has a lot of like thick, kind of curvy lines, which is not completely necessary, but it's not bad at all. Like, this is fine. On the cheaper side of blasters, that's for sure. Cheaper plastic, but it holds 6 rounds. It's fun. It's a rapid fire blaster that's just fun to use. No trigger because it's a hamp. No trigger needed. And aiming it is, you know, not great, but it works, and it's not terrible, but it's not good either. So it definitely gets 0.5. It's way better than whatever the hell Nerf thought this would be. This is just no. No. And coming in at #1, the only #1 on this entire list, the only thing that was not 0.5 or negative is a Cyclonic. This is a cool blaster. This is a really cool blaster. It has a hopper you put into the back. The back of that is actually your shoulder. You put it on your shoulder like a rocket launcher, and have that front grip in your hand, and then you rotate it. I love this mechanism. It's like the old school miniguns, and Nerf really need to make more of these, but this is one of the rare ones that actually worked. The only other one I can think of is Boomco, and that thing didn't have the capacity you needed. Neither does this one, but this one's fun, and the crank is bigger. This is definitely the best crank blaster ever made, in my opinion. You get around 6 rounds, you crank it, fires it, maybe 15 feet to 20. I'm not completely sure. I've only seen this thing once before. I almost picked one up, but the issue is it did not come with its hopper. You really need that thing. It's a magazine kind of thing, but, only compatible with this blaster. But it's just a really cool blaster and really interesting how you actually hold it. And I like that. It's different. It's just interesting. And the crank, I love the crank mechanism. It's awesome. A rare blaster that is kind of just in the ether, not really seen anymore. Really cool mechanism, how it works. Really cool and comfortable design. And for really the ballistic balls, this is one of the most interesting designs of them all. Like, this is some of the peak of ballistic balls, what you could do with them. And if you ever want to see a list on ballistic balls, leave a comment below. But this is definitely my number one, and there's no doubt about it. The Atom Blast series did not last long. Really didn't have anything new or good, except this one. This one was different, but still, it would not compete in today's standard, even for a stock war. It just wouldn't. But it would be fun. I've seen one person run this. He's a crazy man, but it was definitely fun to see. Absolute number one. If you have any ideas for a different series I should rank, leave a comment below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry this week was short, but I couldn't do much with 3 blasters. I went as much as I could. And hope you guys enjoyed. I mean, you did pick it. Hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.